Down comes Grýla from the other fields, with 40 tails, a bag on her back, a sword or knife in her hand, coming to carve out the stomachs of the children who cry for meat during Lent. As you can tell from that short narrative, this witch is a force to be reckoned with. And before I go any further, I want to apologize that my voiceover is not going to be the best today. I am currently battling an illness right now that is going around. Everyone should know what I'm talking about without me having to say it. So I did want to get this video out here because I think that this creature, this witch, is very interesting. And I really just wanted you all to hear about this tale because I never heard about it until I did last week's episode on the Yule Cat. So Grýla is called the Christmas or the Yule Witch, and originally she actually was not associated with Christmas time at all. She became a tale back when oral accounts were still the only way to hear about certain folklore. She was an ogress that lived around the 13th century, and there were a few different ways that she was described. In one that you heard about with the 40 tails, there's another that described her only having 15 tails, and there is also another one that said that she had 100 balloons, or she had 15 tails on each tail, and she had 100 balloons, and every balloon contained 20 children. There was quite another interesting description of her that said she had 300 heads and 3 eyes on each head. However, one thing that seemed consistent in all these different tales is that she would kidnap children, and she and her husband would put them in a large sack, and they would end up eating them. In earlier tales, there was a midwinter holiday known as Yule that was an Old English and Old German version of Yule, which described that time as a gathering together for feasting and celebrating, and eventually it did become what we know today as Christmas. In the earliest of the celebrations, the season was viewed not as a time to just bring living relatives together, but also your deceased loved ones, and elves, trolls, and any other mythical or creepy creature that roamed around, and Grýla was one of them. Grýla's name loosely translated to growler, and she would show up during these celebrations with a bag, and she would toss naughty children in them, which I had stated earlier, she would end up turning into stew. Prior to being associated with Christmas time, she was like the personification of winter. She seemed to represent how the world would change during that time of year, and there were people that believed that she actually had control of the landscape and was able to control the weather in order to make it so people had to struggle. It was said that the ancient Icelandic people understood themselves to be more like tenants of their lands and were at the whims of Grýla and any other mythical beings in the area. When she started getting associated with Christmas, it was said that she had 13 sons who were known as the Yule Lads, and each of the Yule Lads would come and visit children starting from the 25th of December all the way up to January 6th, and children would leave out their shoes in order to receive presents. I might do a video later on going into more detail about the Yule Lads, but she is the mother of all of them, as well as the owner of the Yule Cat, which you learned in last week's video. There is more details that I would like to include, but unfortunately it's honestly pretty hard for me to talk for a long period of time. So I am going to wrap up this video now. I will leave links to some really interesting articles that I got my information from in the description below if you'd like to read about more about her. Or if you are interested in downloading her, she is on the gallery already. I have all that information down in the description below as well, and all of the custom content that I use for her will be there. And I want to thank you all for watching. Have a magical day and have a magical holiday. Bye.